I'm back to share NBA playoff series picks and predictions for today's big Western Conference Finals matchup between the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's Myguyknowsaguy here on my Frenzy Sports Basketball YouTube channel. Let's get right to it. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving versus Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. This could be one of the most exciting series that we've seen during this year's NBA playoffs. I'll be sharing 4 Western Conference Finals picks in this video, so make sure you watch until the very end. Before we continue, take a second to subscribe to the channel right now, hit like on the video, and turn notifications on. That will help my video be seen by as many people as possible. Also, follow Frenzy Content on X, formerly known as Twitter. This is where I'll be posting all of my sports betting picks and predictions across all of the sports that I cover in one place. That's Frenzy Content on X. Also, follow Myguyknowsaguy, my personal page on X. Now, personally, I've been high on the Mavs since the trade deadline. I was a bit ahead of the curve in terms of assessing what the acquisition of Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington could mean for this core on the Mavs and their future title prospects. Full disclosure, I do have money on the Dallas Mavericks to win the NBA title this season at plus 1,800 odds. And I was also really high on them to win their series against the Clippers and against the OKC Thunder. I went a bit against the grain in the second round, but I truly believed that the Dallas Mavericks were the better team, and they proved to be as they defeated the OKC Thunder in 6 games with an injured Luka Doncic. Now, in terms of the series winner, the Minnesota Timberwolves are currently favored at minus 175 odds, and the Dallas Mavericks are at plus 140 odds. I know that there's a lot of hype surrounding the Timberwolves since their big comeback win on the road in Game 7 against the defending champion Denver Nuggets, and a lot of hype surrounding Anthony Edwards in particular. He's suddenly been anointed as the next face of the league, and there are many arguments that you could make for why people would be right about that, but at the end of the day, he's still only 22 years old. He's done so much to lift his team up. I'm a big fan of his, especially when you consider how the Minnesota Timberwolves level of play remained consistently positive in the absence of Karl Anthony Towns when he had that injury in the second half of the season. Anthony Edwards not only held it down for the T-Wolves, but he made them better. But when it comes to this series, I do believe that Luka Doncic will be the best player in this series. He is also, in my opinion, the best player in the NBA at the moment. I do believe he was robbed for the MVP award this season. Both of these teams have been amazing on the defensive side of the ball. We know the level of star power that they both possess on the offensive side of the ball, but it's the defensive side where they've hung their hat during these playoffs. I'm taking the Dallas Mavericks to win the series at plus 140 odds. I'm risking 1 full unit. In terms of the series spread, I also believe that the sportsbooks have made a mistake here. The Dallas Mavericks are currently listed at plus 1.5 games at minus 140 odds, minus 1.5 games for the Timberwolves at plus 115 odds. I'm placing a second bet here on the Dallas Mavericks plus 1.5 games on the series spread at minus 140 odds. That's to win 1 unit. In terms of the total amount of games for this series, I do think that this will go over 5.5, but I'm not playing it at minus 175 odds. I don't feel comfortable laying that sort of juice pre-series. It doesn't make sense to me, especially when there are other ways that we can attack this series. 2 more picks, and then I'll get out of here. The Western Conference Finals MVP award. This is a very interesting market. They have Anthony Edwards listed at minus 150 odds. I'm not sure who set this line, but I personally believe that it's incorrect to lay minus 150 on a player that's 22 years old. Although Anthony Edwards is a generational talent, his body of work does speak for itself. I simply believe that Anthony Edwards is the second best player in this series. Luka Doncic is currently listed at plus 170 odds to be named Western Conference Finals MVP. We don't know how injured Luka is going into game 1, but Luka is coming off of 3 straight triple doubles in the playoffs, one of which was in a closeout game against the OKC Thunder, where he looked pretty impressive. He didn't look too injured in that game. I'm going to say that Luka is still the best player in this series, and I do believe that he should be favored for Western Conference Finals MVP. I will be taking Luka Doncic to win Western Conference Finals MVP at plus 170 odds, although this will be a much smaller bet. I'm only risking a half unit. The second bet that I'm making in this market is Kyrie Irving at plus 1400 odds. Kyrie was called out in the media, if you can call it that, by Anthony Edwards after the big Game 7 win against the Nuggets for the T Wolves. And I do know that Kyrie has had some pretty big performances against the T Wolves, although it's a pretty small sample size. I personally believe that Kyrie has a strong chance to display the offensive capabilities that we've all grown accustomed to seeing from him, although we haven't seen it during these playoffs. A part of me believes that Kyrie has been saving his best for a moment like this. And if Jaden McDaniels is going to be defending Luka Doncic for the majority of this series, I do believe that this opens the door for Kyrie to display the best of what we've grown accustomed to seeing from him on the offensive side of the ball. Small bet here on Kyrie Irving to be named Western Conference Finals MVP at plus 1400 odds. So there you have it. I'm riding with my futures ticket on the Mavs to win the NBA title at plus 1800 odds. I do believe that this is the year for Luka Doncic to break through to the NBA Finals with the help of Kyrie Irving, head coach Jason Kidd, and a tremendous supporting cast. The Minnesota Timberwolves are a great team, but I personally believe that Anthony Edwards is going to break through in another season and that this is simply Luka's time. The added fuel of being robbed for the MVP trophy, the disrespect in the media, there are a lot of external factors. Here's a recap of my four bets for this series. I'm taking the Dallas Mavericks to win the series at plus 140 odds. I'm risking one unit. I'm also taking the Dallas Mavericks plus 1.5 games on the series spread at minus 140 odds to win one unit. I'm also taking Luka Doncic to be named Western Conference Finals MVP at plus 170 odds. This will be a smaller bet. I'm risking a half unit there. And I'm also taking Kyrie Irving to be named Western Conference Finals MVP at plus 1400 odds. This is an even smaller bet. I'm risking a quarter unit on Kyrie. Best of luck. Enjoy the series. Subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on. And remember, these are only my pre-series bets. I will be sharing more picks and predictions on a game-by-game basis throughout this series. So make sure you return to Frenzy Sports Basketball. That's the name of this channel right here on YouTube. This is Myguyknowsaguy. I'll see you next time.